All right, good Monday evening. It is going to be a warm and muggy end to the month of April. Remember at the beginning of the month, we had temperatures in the 90s for 3 consecutive days, and that was good enough to tie or break record highs for 3 straight days. Well, at the end of the month, we're already up to 91. It's not quite good enough for a record anymore. Sunday, we made it up to 91. The record was 93. Today, we made it up to 88. The record, 92. Tomorrow's record is 94. So it's not going to be quite that hot, but still, these temperatures above average, about 10 to 15 degrees above the norm. And because of the high humidity, the heat index is going to be in the lower to mid 90s over the next couple of afternoons. Now, we do have some relief coming in the form of a front, but it's going to be slow to get here. Now, this time of the year, as we get later into spring and move into summer, severe weather season across the country kind of shifts around a little bit. So early in the spring, in the winter months, early spring, we have most of the severe weather nationally in Dixie Alley. That's kind of where we are down south. Now, later in the spring, the severe weather risk shifts farther to the northwest in the plains and into the Midwest. And look at where we've got the severe weather tonight. Several tornado watches from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, down to Oklahoma, and Texas. Now, when this front makes it to Mississippi, it's not going to be that bad, but I do think there might be a level 1 marginal risk of severe weather because a few thunderstorms can produce some gusty winds. Right now, officially, there's no risk, but I could see a marginal risk being issued by Thursday and Friday for South Mississippi. In the meantime, we're not going to see very much in the way of rain. Even though we're in the warm sector of this frontal system, and it is warm and muggy in the upper levels, there's high pressure, and that kind of tamps down on the rain chances. So very little, if any, rain coming on your Tuesday and Wednesday. Can't totally rule out a stray shower, but absolutely nothing significant coming until Thursday when that front finally does arrive. So live IMAX 12, it's quiet. Notice to the east of us, there we go, stray shower along that stationary frontal boundary to the northeast of us. But we're not going to see anything here. It's going to be a fair night through about midnight. Now, I do think as temperatures drop closer to the dew point, we're going to see clouds increasing. Could even see a little bit of fog in South Mississippi in the Pine Belt for tomorrow morning, but that's not going to last long. When we start to heat up, those clouds are going to go away. It'll be another mostly sunny, hot afternoon tomorrow. Now, check out our dew points. They are in the upper 60s to low 70s. At one point, we had a dew point of 70 today in Jackson. That is right at the top of our dew point scale. The higher the dew point, the higher the amount of moisture in the air, and so that's when the humidity is oppressive, when that dew point is 70 degrees or better. And that's what we're expecting as long as we're in the warm sector of this frontal system, and we will be there through Wednesday. Remember, it finally arrives with some rain starting about Thursday. So we're looking at temperatures tonight in the mid to upper 60s, some clouds first thing in the morning, and then tomorrow it's going to be just like today. I think our temperatures ranging from about 86 to 90 degrees. Even if we don't actually touch 90, it's going to feel like 90 or better because of the high humidity, the heat index between 90 and 95, just like it was today. So temperatures running about 10 degrees average through Wednesday, then those numbers begin to drop because remember, the rain comes in Thursday. The rain's going to linger into Friday. I think the front's going to stall in South Mississippi Friday, but I think by the weekend we're behind the front, and especially the farther north you live, the cooler and drier it's going to be over the weekend. Next couple of days, though, nothing cool and dry about this forecast, other than the fact that we're not going to see any rain. It is going to be hot and humid with a mix of sun and clouds Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Now, again, can't rule out a stray shower, especially Wednesday, but just nothing significant. So we're just going to call it mostly dry through midweek. Then we get the good chance of rain Thursday. The rain kind of shifts down to South Mississippi Friday as that front slows up, and then we could see a stray shower early Saturday, mainly in South Mississippi. But again, the farther north you live, the drier it's going to be. Now, let's talk about the Mississippi River because it has crested in Vicksburg, the 19th highest crest on record ever in Vicksburg at 49.37 feet, but the current stage is 49.3 feet, so it's actually very close to that high point, although it is starting to slowly go down. We do expect the river to be at moderate flood stage to about May the 7th or 8th, and then for a few more days, it's going to be in minor flood stage before it drops below flood stage. So about the first third of the month of May, there's still going to be Mississippi River flooding. And in Natchez, we thought it had crested earlier today, but it started to rise again. So the current stage is 55.74, expected to crest tomorrow, Tuesday, April the 29th, at about 55.8 feet, and that is going to be the 11th highest crest on record in the city of Natchez. All right, so your forecast for tonight, clouds are going to be increasing after midnight, fog to our south, mid-60s in the morning, a light south wind. Tomorrow, south breeze, high humidity, mostly sunny by the afternoon, a high of 88 with a heat index 90 to 95. The sun does not go down now until about 20 minutes before 8 p.m. So warm through the end of April, which is Wednesday. That's the last day of the month. First day of May is going to be wet, 80% chance of rain, mostly late in the day. Then a 50% chance of rain Friday, mainly south of I-20. Stray showers Saturday, but most of the weekend is going to be fine. In fact, better than last weekend. In fact, temperatures are going to be about 10 degrees cooler for the first weekend of May than they were for the last weekend of April. Remember, Sunday we had 91, and we're looking at 82 this upcoming Saturday. And your lows are going to be cooler as well, down near 60 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which is Cinco de Mayo. Looks like that's going to be a pretty good day as well. And then we'll start to heat back up by Tuesday. But we're in the month of May as we get into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And as we get deeper into May, it's going to get hot, it's going to get humid, and kind of stay that way. And we're going to be back in a summertime weather pattern. And then we're going to shift our focus from severe weather to tropical weather coming in from the east. That really, the official start to hurricane season is June the 1st, but it really doesn't start to get going until about August. So the first couple of months, usually of hurricane season, is pretty quiet, although storm could develop, and in the past couple of years, we've actually had a storm develop early in the season. So we'll, of course, watch that. But I think kind of late May through about, let's say, Memorial Day through the 4th of July is kind of our quiet period for weather in Mississippi, normally. And then after that, we're looking at just hot weather and potentially tropical weather headed our way. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, that is it for this evening. Meteorologist Gracie Morris is going to be here tomorrow morning with your next weather update. We'll see you then.